All right, everybody. You know what time it is. It's time to talk all things fatherhood. It's your boy Nate Holloway here with another Father's Authority tonight. Just getting my stuff ready. You guys know what to do. Go ahead and share from your page. Um, Share it because we want as many people on as we can get, as many dads. I got my good friend Antwjuan on here tonight. We go way back, and but we're gonna talk all things fatherhood tonight. So you guys go ahead and get yourself ready to share, and I am going to do the same thing.
As well as me. I did the same thing.
All right, it is 7 o'clock, and we are live with a Father's Authority. I'm on with my boy Antwjuan Lewis. Antwjuan, tell everybody what's up.
What's going on, people?
You guys know what we do. We talk all things fatherhood here on the Father's Authority. For those of you tuning in for the first time, my name is Nate Holloway, and a Father's Authority is something that God gave me. It's a part of kingdom relationships. And what we do is we talk all things fatherhood. We try to get men back into the lives of their children, get them back, speaking to the lives of their children, teaching their children, leading their children, raising their children. Even if you're not married to the mother or in the home with the mother, you can still raise your children. And tonight we have a perfect example of that. It's my friend Antwjuan. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Antwjuan. Antwjuan's bio: after having 3 kids from a previous marriage and added 1 from a current relationship, he has 4, 2 boys and 2 girls. And them boys are my buddies. He has 50-50 custody of his first 3, and of course, the full custody of his youngest. His kids are Elijah, who is 8, Taylor, who is 6, Callie, who is 3, going on 33, and Kendall, who just turned 1. Antwjuan, what's going on, man?
What's up, Big Nate? How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I am so glad to have you on tonight, man. We're gonna talk all things fatherhood, of course.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we go way back. I know you. I knew your dad. He was my buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he, even though he was a Rams fan, you know, he's you know, he's still my buddy.
Yes, sir.
We used to go at it. So, Antwjuan, tell us a little bit about yourself, man, and about your life with your dad, man.
I think you pretty much covered a lot about myself. I'm a proud father of 4 beautiful children. My pops, he was an interesting young man. You know, he taught me a lot, both from being there and not being there. Pops had a little struggles in life. You know, when I was his firstborn. You know, I was his pride and joy. You know, he made some bad decisions in the streets, and you know, spent a little time of my early childhood in jail. But that never stopped him from being a good father. When he was there, he was there. So I picked up a lot of some good habits. I picked up some bad habits, but I never questioned who my father was, or if, will he be around. And I definitely knew who he was. He definitely had definitely had a very, very strong influence on who the person I am today. Great grandfather. That's something nobody could take from him. Great grandfather. We lost Pops a couple of years ago, but he definitely had the opportunity to put a stamp on the boys' lives as well. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's good, and you know, I can attest to that because I experienced it.
Yes,
You know, he had an influence on me too. He was a good man. He had some good words of wisdom. He always used to mess with me about the drums because he played drums too.
Yes.
He always used to want to go at it. Nate, I got you now. I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna get on the set. And I'm gonna take you out. But he really gave wisdom. And you said something about he was in jail for most of your for a little bit of your childhood,
Right.
but that never changed you knowing who your father was. How did that him? How did he interact with you when he was in jail? Did he still have an impact on you? How was that impact
Well,
behind bars?
the biggest impact was created before he went. You know.
Okay.
You know, before he went, I would like to say I was the firstborn. So for what my mom told me, I didn't go anywhere. He didn't go anywhere without me. You know, he was always looking to go. If he was looking to go somewhere, he always had me, right at his hip. So
okay,
the influence was there at the beginning. He definitely made his mark in the beginning, and then some bad decisions. Then shout out to my mom. I know this is about fathers, but shout out to her for never allowing that situation to take me away from knowing who he was and continuing to make an influence on me.
Yeah, because that happens a lot of times when the father either goes away, goes to jail, or he's not with the mother. Sometimes the mothers don't. They talk negative about the father to the kids, or they don't allow the kids to be a part of the father's life, so he doesn't have that impact. So, what does fatherhood mean to you?
Fatherhood means a lot. Fatherhood is our future. Is whatever shape our world takes 10 years from now or 20 years from now, and even for our ancestors, has a lot to do with what fatherhood, being a father. I wake up every day and I take pride in being that. From the time I wake up to the time I lay my kids down for bed and then I go to bed. It's a huge part of my life, whether they're around me or whether I'm at work. I'm a constant example of what my father taught me. So I definitely try to instill that into them. And you are a direct. I guess the word I'm looking for is that even when your kids aren't around, you have to upkeep that standard of being
right.
a good father or a good man. You want them to know that lifestyle. So fatherhood to me, Nate, is life. That's life. My kids are my everything. Everything I do, every decision I make, I definitely make those decisions with them in mind.
Yeah, and you said something about even when they're not around, it sets the standard because you're the example.
Oh,
so as they get older and you're out in public and you do something, it can get back to your kids. I saw your dad doing this. I saw your dad doing that. Or if your kids are somewhere, people who know you know the standards that you set in your kids. There was a time, of course, I didn't know my father, but my godfather raised me. Right. And he was a well-known pastor in Richmond. And when I went to college, I think I was somewhere. I wasn't doing anything bad, but I was somewhere, and somebody said to me, "Does Ella Moore know you down here?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down here in college. I'm down here now." So then I get back to my dorm, and I get a call from him saying, "Such and such said they saw you at such." I was like, "Yeah," I told him. And it was just like
my life, Nate.
Right, but they knew what my character should be from the man who raised me. And that's good because I say all the time, you instill that character in your kids, just like we're instilling this Niners, cup into our kids. Show yours. There you go. Yeah. We just had to do that. Short plug. But you're instilling that into your kids, so when you're not around, right, they're exemplifying your character and who you are. And that's so good.
Yeah.
So what's the best part of being a father?
I think the best part of being a father is your kids allow you to never stop learning. A lot of people think it's all about teaching them. And from experience, I like to say that I'll probably learn more from my children than they've learned from me as a father, at least at me as a man. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Definitely. And it's just the nonstop knowledge that you learn about yourself and their different personalities that they have. You know,
Yeah.
it's fun. Um, you just can't say enough about coming home to daddy, and my kids are a little older, so I'm able to have conversation with them like, Dad, how was your day? You know what I mean? And it's not always teaching them. A lot of times it goes both ways as well. So just being able to go through the process of helping shape them in becoming men and young women
Hmm.
in the world. And I call it giving them a cheat code on life, just trying to show them the things that, places where I probably made mistakes and try to help steer them away from them. And then them also showing me ways that I can be better as a father. Or um, my oldest son has come to me sometimes and voiced his opinion on how I handled situations,
Wow.
like that. I don't. It makes me sad when you do this, or if you act like that, or do this. So I like to think they're just as big a part of me being a good father as I am from as vice versa. So definitely is a 50-50 split there.
Yeah, and that's good because we can learn a lot from our kids. I'm learning things from Caleb. Like one thing is patience.
Oh, yes,
One
sir.
thing I'm learning is patience. Another thing I'm learning too is how to handle him and his personality, especially when it comes to discipline. Because Caleb uh, he has a strong personality.
Right.
And he gets that from me and his mother.
Sorry,
Um,
mother.
you better watch you watching. You better watch.
Sorry, Keith. Sorry, Keith.
Uh, but he can be strong-willed sometimes, and I have to out of be careful to not discipline him out of frustration. So I have
Right.
to learn how to talk to him and what to say to him in those moments to get him to understand that that's not right because he'll question you
Oh yeah.
or he'll say, "No, Dad, it is right." He'll say something like that. But and I'm seeing now at this age what I'm going to have to deal with as he gets older. So as I teach him now, I'm learning that that's going to change that.
Oh yeah. And if I can chime in on that from another level too is because I heard I threw out like different personalities and you brought up like discipline. And that's a job in its own when you have multiple kids because they all react to different ways of me teaching them,
Hmm.
disciplining them, uh, and so forth. The way I will discipline Elijah about something is completely different on how I would discipline Taylor, my youngest son, because they have different emotions. One is a little more mature than the other, and the other one's a little more emotional than the
Hmm.
other. So, you can't go into it thinking that every child. I mean, I may have the same principles for my kids
Right.
on what the core values that ethics that I want them to have as adults in this world, but the way that I disperse them can be different between all four of them.
Got you. Got you.
So that definitely for all you fathers out there, and that ties into what you said too, patience. Because you have to have different levels of patience with different kids. They're not all the same. They have different personalities.
Right. Yep. So the next question I want to ask you, I want you to answer this because you have boys and girls. So I
Oh
want
yeah.
you to answer this from each standpoint separately. Okay.
Okay.
How important are a father's words to his child? And I want you to do it for your sons and your daughters.
Okay. And from my sons, I'm gonna take it a step further. And I hate to throw this in there, but as young black men um, in this world, my actions and words to them are very important.
Hmm.
Uh, the challenges that they're going to face in life, I definitely want to instill some type of sense of courage.
Hmm.
Um, and love. I don't teach my any of my kids to hate anybody. I definitely raise my kids with love for people. But for a boy, it's very, very, very important. Number one, most young men look up to their fathers. We're not more than just your father. Some of them. I mean, my son told me at a young age he thought I was a superhero. So they
Yeah.
look at you as a role model to them, and how what you display definitely can affect them when as they grow up. Now, some maybe can take negative behavior and use that as a positive for what they don't want to be, and vice versa. So it's definitely I'm definitely very I don't want to say hard on my boys, but I can be hard on them. But it's all like I said out of shape. It's out of love.
Yeah, but
Um,
you have to be. I think as fathers, we have to be hard on our
oh,
sons, but it's different kinds of hard because
yeah,
you can be hard so hard where you just everything they do is like
right,
or you can be hard where you hold them to a standard
exactly.
of character and integrity and discipline that they appreciate that and it helps them to further in their life. So I think you always have to be hard
Oh,
on
yeah,
your sons because and you especially like you said, especially our boys of color, you
yeah,
know, well, I'm gonna say all, but especially our boys of color, but all boys, you have to be hard on them because they are the future. They
they
are the ones that provide the seed for our future generations. So they have to learn and they have to know. But tell me
are.
about your words with your daughters.
And with them, I can say it the same. I mean, the key word, the key subject in this question is words.
Uh-huh.
And that's something I had to learn. Being able to discipline my children, both boys and girls, with using words. Now the girls don't beat me up, but those are my babies. So so there is a little bias with Callie and Kendall
They
on
got you
how.
right in the finger, right?
Oh my God, man! So they get a little leeway with a lot of things, but words are huge. Sitting them down, having a conversation. Now I can change my tone and how that conversation goes to let them know how serious or non-serious I am. And with the girls, it's a lot more of an education um, mindset with them, just
Mhm.
teaching them, what to expect in the world. And then the biggest thing that I teach my daughters is, no matter what, nothing in the world, you don't let anybody tell them they're not beautiful or intelligent. One of the things me and Callie do every day is I say, "Who's beautiful?" And she goes, "Me, Daddy." And I go, "Who's intelligent?" And she goes, "Me, Daddy." So we do
That's
that
good.
every day, sometimes twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. But I just instill in them that I don't care what a man says, a friend says, anybody says about you. You're beautiful and you're intelligent. And it's to the point now where I don't think Callie will believe anybody if they told her she wasn't beautiful or intelligent. And these are just simple conversations, but because it comes from daddy,
Uh-huh.
understand what I'm saying? It holds a bigger weight on their lives. And just a side note here too, Nate. A lot of men think that it's more important for them to be in the lives of their sons, and I will kindly disagree with that. I think it holds just as much of an importance for a father to be in the life of their daughters as well as their sons, because only a father can teach their daughter what type of man she should look forward to
Right.
being with, or that she deserves to be with, and it takes a father to do that, not a mother, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Um,
it definitely does. Because I don't have daughters, but I've seen I have friends like you and other friends who have daughters. But what I've learned that it is important how a father speaks to his daughter because how he speaks to her determine how she receives speech from another man.
Right.
So if her father's always telling her, "You ain't nothing, get down, sit down, shut up, do this, do that," then she's gonna allow another man to do that to her. But if you go to her and say, "Sweetheart, no, you're beautiful. Don't ever let any man tell you you're not. Hey, this is how you do it. Let daddy take you out. This, no, don't worry about it, sweetheart." You know, with those tones. Now, sometimes you have to be firm and stern with the kids.
Yeah.
But when you speak to your daughter, you have to speak into her future. You have to speak to her value. And when you speak to her value, then she'll know what she's worth. And then she'll grow up, and then she will. I put a post up today that, you know, the standard you set for your daughter is a standard that she'll make every man that she meet rise up to.
Oh yeah. And I feel sorry for that man with my daughter. It's gonna be a long walk. I even instill that in the boys. They know when we go somewhere, they hold the door open for their sisters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, little things like that. She goes first. She sits first. Nobody gets their plate before she does. So, like I said, it's amazing how having kids you can teach them, you know, off of each other. By teaching one thing, you can also be teaching the other. So yeah, definitely.
Right. Yeah, and that's God, and I do that with Caleb now. Everywhere we go, when we go to school in the mornings, and he opened the door for if a little girl and her mother's coming, he said, "Daddy, girls first, boys last." I said, "That's right, son."
And that's what I'm saying. They teach you, man. They keep you accountable. They definitely do, man.
Well, we hold the door. He said, "Girls first, boys last." I said, "Yep, that's right, boys last." And then we do it for mommy. We do it for everywhere we go. If we out in public, he do it because I have to teach him to respect women and respect girls, respect them now at this age. And because you see me, you see how I treat mommy, this is how you treat women, you know.
Young man out there, you respect women even when they don't respect themselves. You still do your job as a gentleman.
That's right. That's right. That's good, man. That's good. So let me ask you another question. What advice would you give your children about their thinking, about how they think?
Positive. This is actually something we talk about a lot. I teach my kids to be optimistic. You know, I think little phrases that you hear growing up, you kind of a lot of people take lightly, like you can be anything you want to be if you put your mind to it. That's something I heard nonstop growing up. And you want your kids to believe that. Seriously, and that's the mindset I want my kids to have. To give a brief example, I take the word can't, and they're not allowed to use the word can't in the house. And they're to the point now where they'll catch themselves. You know, if they say, "Daddy, I can't do this," you know, and not to say that you can't help your children, because a lot of times it's stuff that they can't do. But what I do, instead of doing it for them, you know, I figure out a way to incorporate teaching them, you know, how to get it done, or a way to make it easier for them, because and then that goes into another lesson of not always depending on somebody else, being able to learn and get through obstacles in life. So it is, you want your kids to believe they can fly, man, and because you want the best for them. And it's not that necessarily you're living your life through your kids, but you know, it's a testament to me of seeing my kids successful. Elijah got student of the month last month. I almost cried, you know. But it made me feel good as a father, because, and I'm not going to lie and say I don't sometimes second guess my decision making as a father, but seeing that made me stop and say to myself, you know, okay, I might be doing something right. So there's something right. And so you never, I don't care what your kids fail at, I don't care what they struggle with, you never allow them to believe that they can't you know, achieve anything.
Right.
That's huge to me. I mean, it's just huge to me.
Yeah, you got to. That's like, I do the same thing with Caleb. When he said can't do it, say, don't say you can't. Say, ask yourself, how can I?
Right.
I always tell him, how can I? We would be outside and he would see an airplane in the sky. He said, "Dad, I can't reach it. I can't reach it." I said, "No, son. How can you reach it?"
Exactly.
And I said, "How can the way we can reach an airplane is we get on the airplane and we get in the sky. We're on the airplane." Then now he asked to get on the airplane. He wants to stick around the airplane.
And for y'all watching, that is vintage Nate Holloway right there. I got to hear those sayings for as long as I've known him, before I even became a father. And that's learning from everybody. You can never not learn, man. You can always be smarter. You can always do more.
Yeah, man. So, all right. So, what's the biggest impact your dad had on you? What's the biggest lesson you learned from your dad?
I think the biggest lesson I learned from my dad is to be happy about your past, to never regret where you came from.
That's good.
And you know, a lot of people see me up here. I got the glasses and the shirt on, and
he ain't always had it, y'all.
10, 11 years ago, definitely wasn't the same guy you see sitting here. But at the same time, a lot of things that I learned from being broke and being in the hood, gang banging, and doing all the stuff that I used to get into, I learned a lot, and it helped shape me into the person I am. It helped me be able to instill the core values that I instill into my kids every day. And that's just from being in a different walk of life, and then showing them how not to go down that path, and also learn from that path at the same time. So that's probably something, and I'm doing a good job, Nate, not getting emotional about Pops, because I miss him. I miss that man a lot, man.
I feel you, man.
A lot from him. I think he was the best teacher I probably ever had. And if without him, I probably wouldn't even be the father that I am today. So it is just be happy with who you are, where you came from, because you don't go through nothing for no reason.
Yeah, and we all learn, and we get to a point, because we don't always make the right decisions of what our fathers tell us. Right. On the advice we don't always take that advice, but when we get to a point where we get tired and we hear what our fathers say in the back of our minds, then we go. I remember that day we were in McDonald's, and we were on our laptops looking for jobs.
I remember that.
We both said, and you had your kid. I didn't have Caleb wasn't born. I wasn't even married yet. I hadn't even met Keisha yet.
Yep.
But you had your kids, and
Elijah at that time.
It was just Elijah. Yep. And you wanted to provide a better life for your son, and we both were working at a temp agency that week.
Yep.
And we're at McDonald's. We both said that we weren't going to be here anymore.
Yep.
And you know that we want to be examples. You want to be an example for your son, and I wanted to be an example for my future kids. And we made the steps. And I remember now you are where you said you wanted to be. And that's a good example, because E is able to see that. He's able to see Daddy was here, and now he's here. So now if Daddy can do it, I can do it. And you set a great example for him, man. You know, and I'm gonna say I'm proud of you. I taught you well, Grasshopper.
I appreciate it, and I can't say that I can't take that, because I learned a lot from this man. And the same could be said about you, even though Caleb wasn't there though. But by you setting that game plan for what type of man you wanted to be in life, definitely put you in the right position to find your beautiful wife.
Yeah, she is beautiful. Yes, Lord.
And thank you, Keith, because we was losing hope. We was losing hope.
All right, okay, all right. It's time.
But it definitely puts you in definitely a good space in life to be the husband and the father you are today, man. I like to think that you've just been through just as much as I have, bro, from what us growing up as young men together. So definitely big ups to you as well, man.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you came on tonight, man, to share your wisdom.
I'll say one more thing, Nate.
Yeah, go ahead.
this is to the fathers out there, man. This is something that's dear to me because of my situation of being in a previous marriage and dealing with being a co-parent and stuff. There is nothing in this world that's an excuse for you not to be in your children's life.
That's right.
There's no woman. There's no financial situation. There is nothing. It doesn't cost money to be a father.
That's good.
And that's something I really been I just want to definitely say before we got off of this, because I feel like a lot of fathers make excuses, and there is no excuse at all, not one.
None, man. And I said I appreciate you for saying that, because that's another subject, man, and we can talk about it. I've always said that there's no reason why you shouldn't be in your child's life. I can understand if you're scared. If you're scared, figure it out. If you mad with the baby mama, get over it. You don't have to be with her to be in your child's life. If she won't let you, there's the judicial system where you can make sure you can see your child. I have friends who I have a friend who told me, he said, man, I went and I studied the law and I figured out what my rights were. And now I'm able to see my son. Soon I'm gonna have custody of my son. And this and that. And, you know, like you said, it is no excuse, man. And I think for a man, and this is me. So anybody who wants to chew me out or whatever, hey, whatever. I think a man who doesn't take care of his children, or is not in the life of his children, is a weak man. That's just my opinion. Now, depending on whatever circumstances, if you just can't, you know, there's always a way to have an impact. Yes. Through phone, through mail, through words. There's always a way to have an impact. And again, you know, I made the comment and I stand by it. Because I am big on fatherhood, man. Ever since Caleb was born, there's been like, this boy is my heart, you know, and I come home every day expecting to see him run around the corner. Yeah. I come home every day expecting. Now, sometimes I'm tired and I want to sit down and I'll hear daddy come play with me, daddy play with me, daddy play with me. And I'm like, I want to play, but I look forward to that. And, you know, I look forward to teaching him and talking to him and doing things. I'd rather hang with him than with friends.
Oh, yeah. They're best friends, man.
Right. I'd rather hang with him than with friends, you know, and it's just, that's like you said, it's no excuse. None. And that's what a father's authority is about. Starting a dialogue to get men back into the lives of their children. Even if you've been gone back for a while, to be able to say you can come back into your child's life. We can help you find resources. If you don't know how to get back into your child's life, just ask for help. We'll help you find resources to get back into your child's life, to find ways. I got all these guys. I'm sure Antwjuan is willing to help. We can have a interview talking about just those. But it's no excuse. And man, I thank you for coming on tonight, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. You are my friend, my brother. Let's show him one more time.
One more time, man.
Niners for life, man. I appreciate it, man. Congratulations on the upcoming wedding.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look forward to seeing it. I'm gonna have to pull Jess to the side and ask her why. But I love you, man. And
I love you too, bro.
Thanks for coming on, bro. And you have a good night. I appreciate you coming.
You as well, man. Thank you. Hopefully, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
All right, guys. That was my friend Antwjuan. Great dialogue tonight. Great conversation. If you got anything out of it, just let us know. Let me know what you think about these. Email us at krelationship@gmail.com. You can go to our website to check us out and check out other videos at kingdomrelationships.org. Again, I'll be back next week with another interview. I'm loving doing these, guys. Guys, if you have anything you want me to talk about, any questions, again, email me. Let me know what you guys think too. I want to know. So comment on the post, on the videos, or email us. Let us know what you think about a father's authority. All right. Thank you guys. You guys have a good night. I love you. Be victorious.